Now that we finally got a working program, let's figure out a few different ways to break it. When we break our program, we encounter errors. In general, there are three different types of errors that we can make. They can be compile time errors, and runtime errors, and then logical errors. Compile errors are relatively easy to find and fix. They happen when we break. Okay. They usually happen when we break a rule that's set by the compiler. So when we actually go to compile our program, which will take our code and turn it into bytecode, which can later be interpreted in case of Java. When we go to do that, the compiler will catch us. The compiler says, "Oh, I found you broke a rule," but it doesn't always tell us exactly what we should do. It just points to the rule that we broke, and it's not always helpful. For example, let's take a look at the block notation. The block notation starts with a curly bracket and it ends with a curly bracket. But if we forget to put one of them in, or if you put an extra curly bracket, that will definitely break the rule for the compiler and it will give us an error. In this case, for example, if we forget to put the closing curly bracket for our main method, we get an error. But as you can see, the error actually points to the end of the file. So we get something like reach the end of the file, even though that's not where our actual error is. But as the compiler is going through and matching the curly brackets, it gets to the end and then realizes that there isn't a matching curly bracket for when the class definition started right up there. So that's when it throws the error. So the errors point us in the right direction sometimes. Sometimes they're a little bit confusing, but we have to take them as a clue and then inspect the code and figure out exactly what is going wrong and where. So the second type of errors are runtime errors, and as the name suggests, those happen at runtime when the program is executed. The second type of errors are the runtime errors. As the name suggests, these happen when the application is running. Now for our little program, the life cycle for it is only a fraction of a second, so we don't really have much opportunity to introduce runtime errors. We will look at runtime errors when we accept input from the user or write applications that last longer. An example of a runtime error would be, for example, if you ask the user to provide us a number and they provide us a sound, for example, or a string. And in this case, if we didn't plan to handle this situation, then our program could terminate or crash. The last type of errors are the logical errors. We make this type of errors because we're humans. So we make incorrect assumptions about what we're supposed to implement, or maybe we understand the implementation requirements, but when we're writing the code, we make a mistake and the code is producing an output that we don't expect. For example, in our simple sheep sound program, maybe we accidentally put the sound of duck in the program and it's producing a sound but it's incorrect. It's not what we were expecting. When you're learning a new skill, one of the best things you can do is to be playful and try things and not be afraid of failing. If you ever watch newborn lambs play, that's something that you can see quite often. Very nicely visualized because they are really good at failing, but they learn very fast. They try things, they fail at it, but they very quickly they can learn how to run, jump, and yeah, they grow up very fast. Now that you've learned about a few different types of errors in Java programs, open the sheepsound program and see if you can find a new way to break the program. And once you do, share it with me in the comments. In the next video, we look at 2 different ways that we can take input from the user into our program. See you then!